And it looked like there is more drama coming out of the Caitlin Clark pipeline with her final preseason game.
I wish Caitlin Clark gets back or I can't feel my face.
Oh.
I can't feel it.
She gonna do it.
Nah, I don't think she let that just go. I'm gonna just be honest.
Both Caitlin Clark and the referees, who reportedly obtained their licenses from a Cracker Jack box, are back. Don't assume that the whistleblower circus from the previous season is over. While the referees are out here dropping IQ points, she is out here dropping 30. Do they simply dislike Caitlin forever? Or did someone forget to rotate them out? This meltdown is hotter than her three-point shooting, so get some popcorn. And it's delightfully annoying, I promise. Let's get started.
They need to be investigated ASAP. We see what's happening with Caitlin Clark. There's no reason you shouldn't be protecting your star player. Because without Caitlin Clark, there won't be no sold-out arenas. The viewership on TV would not be like it is now, where everybody's watching it because it's must-watch TV. But we are seeing how she's being.
What appears to be more difficult than protecting Caitlin Clark in the WNBA? Locating a referee who can witness it firsthand. Because we're going to do it again. When Caitlin Clark enters a WNBA game with an Indiana-sized bullseye on her back, she is cross-lined like she is in a 1997 WWE bout, and the referees are too preoccupied with bird watching or yoga in the corner. Given what we saw during the Indiana Fever versus Atlanta Dream game, it's possible that they believed they had signed up for the Cyrus to Soul rather than a professional basketball league. It was a whistle-accompanied interpretative dance.
Refs and start the video there and center it on that. The WNBA refs are not consistent. A hit to the arm on one play is a foul, and a hit to the arm on another play is not a foul. The inconsistency is really, 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 really bad for this league, especially with all these players you got coming in. You got Caitlin leading it, right?
While the other squad is trying out for Gladiators, Caitlin Clark, perhaps the most anticipated player to step onto the WNBA court in decades, is out there attempting to play hoops. She's being treated as like she owes someone money for running plays, making shots, and handing passes. Not all of the Atlanta Dream's play was aggressive. The game plan appeared to be printed on a scroll with the words Step 1, stop Caitlin on it. Step 2, try physical assault if you are unable to stop Caitlin.
What's the DJ Currington situation? Yesterday, I did a DJ Currington video kind of breaking down that whole thing, technical on that. They didn't call nothing on that for her poking Caitlin Clark in the eye, and that really had me thinking like, damn, they didn't call nothing on that for her poking Caitlin Clark in the eye, and that really had me thinking like, damn, how many times did they actually, drop the ball and didn't call stuff against Caitlin? Now, Caitlin got called for a technical for hitting the back of the backboard.
And there is still nothing at all in the references. Not a soul. At a traffic signal, your chances of receiving a foul call are higher. But hold on, things will improve. When a whistle was blown, it was to give Caitlin Clark her first 2025 technical foul. Yes, exactly. When she appeared irritated, the referees brought out the yellow card even though they had missed every single unlawful hit on her body. The true offense here seems to be voicing frustration in court after being robbed. Caitlin was tripped, shoved, and elbowed. Her tone, however, is the true issue.
Gets her first tech.
Perhaps the WNBA ought to spend money on emotion meters. Oh no, after being flung onto a chair, she scowled a little. It's AT. WNBA referees are now similar to those characters in horror films who pass the real murderer and say, H, must have been the wind. The referees would say, incidental contact, if Caitlin were thrown headfirst into a popcorn maker. Go ahead and play.
I'm here to tell you, this is getting mixed reviews. Some people saying Caitlin Clark pushed off. Another person is saying the other players bear hug Caitlin Clark. But let's read what the caption stated. It says, the ref standing right there watching her put two hands on CC waist. If he didn't call that, he ain't calling the push off.
Let's discuss the WNBA officiating epidemic, which raises the question of whether the referees mistook their rulebook for a capture the flag guidebook. Because it's not just Caitlin Clark who is being examined like a hockey player. She is simply the victim who is most noticeable. Additionally, visibility need to be important. She should be treated like a walking marketing miracle by the league, right? Someone who, simply by lacing her shoes, increases ticket sales, TV ratings, and social media engagement. You would anticipate that a group of Secret Service agents would take her to games while she was wrapped in bubble wrap. Let's grow women's basketball by letting defenders treat her like she owes them money. Appears to be the league's unofficial stance instead. The league officials' silence is deafening. There are no declarations, no cautions, no attempts at fundamental accountability, just a spooky silence while the chaos plays out in real time. Instead of anger, we get quiet when Clark gets beaten on national television. Less well-known athletes are receiving comparable treatment in the meantime, but without the publicity to highlight their abuse. The WNBA may want to reconsider the playbook if this is their strategy for safeguarding the sport. Ideally, it should not involve gladiatorial combat.
Being pushed around, she's being slapped around, sometimes she's being punched around, and the fouls just keep getting harder and harder. When are the refs going to do their job? Well, matter of fact, when is the WNBA going to do their job? Because there should be some suspensions, check. There should be some fines, check. And you should be setting an example for your star player. Because God forbid this young lady gets hurt. Everything collapses for the WNBA. So give credit where it's due. Stop with the hate behavior. Start calling the calls the way it's supposed to be.
The WNBA officials' ability to continually be bad for everyone is genuinely amazing. Genuine parity and incapacity. If you will, equal opportunity neglect. No foul. You are hit across the face. People are jammed into the third row. Oh, you most likely failed. Asking a referee why they didn't call it is strictly forbidden. If you dare to challenge their holy silence, you will receive a technical. In this league, the standard for misbehavior is so low that it may even be underground. Let's go over Caitlin Clark's notorious technical again. What was the crime, exactly? Breathing too confidently, displaying emotion, and standing erect. If being exceptional and female is the new norm for unsportsmanlike behavior, we might as well give out technicals right away to avoid any tension. However, this isn't about one poor call or game. With each passing quarter, the pattern becomes increasingly obvious. It seems the plan is to bulldoze Caitlin Clark and hope the referees would shrug, sip their coffee, and act as if it never happened if you can't beat her with talent. The lesson being sent is to play fairly rather than hard. We'll ignore that since it's play dirty.
I want to see none of the calls being missed like we seen last year, bro. These referees have to get it together. Now, we know the Indiana Fever front office did everything they had to do, put the right pieces around Caitlin Clark, make sure they make it far in the playoffs, and possibly get a WNBA championship. Well, that part is done. We got a new team. We got a new coach. They got everything they need to do to take off for the 2025 season. The only thing left is these WNBA referees. This need to be talked about, just like it was supposed to be getting talked about at the conclusion of that season. And I'm back on a bumper, bro. I am not letting up on them damn WNBA referees because they are the biggest haters when it comes to Caitlin Clark, bro.
And we did really see you, Atlanta Dream. You conducted a full-fledged live-action episode of American Ninja Warrior with Caitlin Clark cast as the primary obstacle rather than primarily playing defense. When someone shouted, "She made it through the gauntlet because that wasn't basketball," I was almost expecting a buzzer to sound. The show was a full contact stunt. Additionally, the WNBA officiating staff did not recoil. Like gallery critics, they stood there appreciating an abstract interpretive dance and nodding in agreement, thinking, yeah, the brutality really speaks to the chaos of modern femininity. Indeed, avant-garde art. At this point, Caitlin might as well wear studs, football pads, and a helmet because it's obvious that standard basketball gear is insufficient to keep her from having her body scrutinized every 5 seconds. Despite knowing these referees, they would most likely give her a technical fall for being overly prepared or using safety gear in an unsportsmanlike manner. But now, let's discuss the larger tragedy. Officiating in the WNBA generally. The referees would be as erratic as a kid attempting to choose their favorite crayon. You can get away with mauling someone while driving. However, if you respond, you're immediately positioned as the melancholy villain with a mustache.
Indiana Fever fans, We got another W in the preseason against the Atlanta Dream, 81-76. There's a lot that went on in this game. So this was a very competitive game. All the way through, they were given full court defense on Caitlin Clark. For the most part of the game, the starters did sit after three. Caitlin Clark finished with 13, 7, and 6. She could have had 12 to 15 assists. Wait until you see the highlights. She did drop a couple bombs. She hit 3 3-pointers. We did get
The league is adamant that it wants more spectators, fans, buzz, and seats. Here's a groundbreaking idea, though. Perhaps your biggest celebrity shouldn't be treated like she's trying out for WWE Raw. It doesn't exactly scream watchable product to watch Caitlin Clark get elbowed, hip-checked, and demolished every night like she's in the thick of a Jason Bourne chase scene. And the officials are worthless. They do not serve as referees. They are whistle-equipped, exalted mannequins. More resistance would be provided by cones. Cones, at least, don't act like they have power. These referees give the impression that they are there for the cardio rather than the calls. However, the league office is the true MVP of this humiliation. No words, no acknowledgement, no silence, no disappearance, not even the cliched half-hearted. We'll look into it. Just a general shrug, as though safeguarding elite players were a settings menu option. It raises the question of whether they are genuinely watching the games, or if they are merely depending on a carrier pigeon and a group of interns with dial-up. Because it appears to be carelessness masquerading as professionalism from the outside. Try demonstrating your concern first, if you want your supporters to care. The only thing the WNBA is now defending is its own apathy.
Biggest hurdles for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever last season was the WNBA referees. Now, the front office made it their business to revamp the team, bring in more aggressive players to help them get further in the WNBA season and possibly win a WNBA championship. But before any of that stuff can even get done, we have to take a look at the misguided missile that can destroy everything this upcoming season, and that is the WNBA referees and this secret agenda. Yes, there was a secret agenda against Caitlin Clark.
Let's also discuss the ridiculous fact that Caitlin Clark, a talent that spans generations, is currently facing consequences for promoting the league. Because this is exactly what it is. She is targeted more violently the more well-known she becomes. Furthermore, the league is allowing her to be transformed into a tackling dummy with eyeliner rather than taking action to defend her. What if no one called it when LeBron James was pushed into the crowd? The federal government would look into the matter. For a week, ESPN would stop covering anything else. A Cheesecake Factory would have to host an emergency press conference for the NBA commissioner. However, what do we get when Caitlin Clark has her body examined? Crickets. It seems as though a silent animosity is growing throughout the league. For example, how can this youthful, ebullient athlete appear, set records, and want to be regarded like a real basketball player rather than a leg puppet? It's a delightful irony. The WNBA is now receiving the media attention it has long desired, but rather of taking full advantage of it, they are letting it unfold like a blooper reel.